Okay, I think we're good. I just want to make sure that I'm on the screen for the recording. Thanks for your patience, everyone. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, for being here. I'll go through what to expect and how you'll benefit. So, a little bit about myself. I'm Justin, the host of the Align Entrepreneur Network community that you're all a part of. And I believe in personal growth by way of business growth because, as you know, business growth, business building, entrepreneurship can be quite challenging. So I'm very passionate about supporting the hero's journey through the pathway of entrepreneurship. And as an entrepreneur, well, you got to go out there, you got to attract your audience, you got to enroll clients, you got to build your brand. So today's session is about how to do that on Skool. And it goes by many names. It can be like how to grow your school, how to get more members, how to attract new individuals to your community. You might call it lead gen, you might call it more traffic to your school. But whatever way you call it, this is what this is about. So by the end of this session, you will have a simple, duplicatable, repeatable, relational way of growing your school community. And it's going quite well for me. So I'm here to share strategies that I've been following. And a lot of what I do on Skool, I've been doing on Facebook in Facebook groups for the last few years. So it's really just the same strategies, but adapted to the Skool platform. So if you have any questions as we are presenting this strategy, this framework, these tips and suggestions, go ahead and raise your hand if you want to speak or come on camera, or feel free to comment and ask questions in the chat. Glad to respond. All right, so I thought I was just going to share my screen and talk about Skool for this presentation and kind of just wing it. But then when I saw all of the interest from this Skillshare topic, I said, oh, I better present something a little bit better. So I had a go at playing with Gamma AI to create a presentation for all of you. And here you can see my screen. All right. So, like I mentioned, this is how you can grow your school, clear, repeatable way of doing that. And it's organic traffic, right? So it's growing your school community within Skool. That is the focus of today's session. So optimizing your school profile and community, because the whole goal is that when someone sees your school about page, your profile, that they want to join your school. So I'm going to try something here where I'm going to split the two screens so I can share the presentation and you can see my example of mine side by side. Hope that's visible for everyone. All right, so let me go to my profile here. All right, here we go. So your bio, clear bio, direct call to action that guides visitors to join your group. And you see I have that here. And I am a marketer. I want people to enroll more people. I mean, I want entrepreneurs to get more people to join their community so that they have more audience, so they have more client enrollment potential. And I see a lot of individuals that don't have a call to action in their bio. And what I'm sharing with you here is the same profile optimization strategies and techniques for TikTok, for Instagram, for YouTube, for Facebook. It's just indicating to your audience what that one action you want them to take is. And since we're school community owners, the action I believe most of us want people to take is to join the school. So that said, clear outcome, clear action, and the links for what I believe and from what I've learned, it's you're looking to drive your audience to take one action. So it may differ for other individuals, but this is what I do. So even the link that I have here directs to my school community. Audience, traffic, individuals, they're all guided to do one thing. That's what I have right now. I used to have links to my Facebook and my LinkedIn, but I removed those because I'm following this strategy right now. So the idea of this is that Well, what if someone goes to your YouTube channel and then they don't join your school after they check out your YouTube? What if they go to your LinkedIn page and they get distracted by something on LinkedIn and they don't join your school? So with one choice, the idea is that they only have one call to action, one option to do that one thing. Okay, profile picture, quite simple, but just a clear professional looking photo of you. Simple enough. And as simple as it is, just saying it, because I see some people that have photos that are they make me wonder. They make me wonder how professional they are and what they're sharing. So clear headshot photo, group description, right? Like a super simple one sentence phrase or a few sentences that clearly indicate the benefit of joining your community. And marketing is essentially all about outcomes. So what outcome are people going to experience by being part of your community? Another thing I'll say here is that this isn't just the blurb that people see for your school community when people look at your profile. This is also what people see in discovery. So it's a lot more important than you may think, because if people find your school community on discovery, this is what they see. And of course, if they look at your profile, then that's what they see. Okay, so next is the about page. Oh, one thing that I'll mention, which is why I have the side-by-side presentation notes, is to hide the communities that you're a member of. And it's the same idea of me only having a link to join my school community. You don't want to give your audience other options to drive their attention somewhere else, and they don't do that one thing that you want them to do, which is to join your school community. Um, so that is an option to hide. There is an option to hide the communities you're in from your menu settings. I'm not going to go through that right now, but I do that every few days, because what happens is you join a new community and the default is that it shows up here within your memberships. So I'll probably do that after this session. I'll go to my settings and I'll hide the visibility of these groups I'm in, so that when people see my profile, there's only one thing they can do: join my school community. All right, I'll go to my about page. So even from the community name, I believe in having a community name that indicates the outcomes of your community. Having it just, people hear the name of your community and they're curious. They want to find more about it. They want to read the about description. Um, and continuing on, I see this a lot in the bio and descriptions of people's community too. And it's easy for us to get caught up in the jargon and the expertise of our brand, but our audience is not as familiar with our proficiency, our competency. So simplifying the language so that it's resonant. And I also see a lot of people have the titles of who they are and what they do, which is okay. But again, I believe that people take action towards outcomes, and your title isn't as much of an outcome as, well, what are you about and what's in your community? Um, so you have the opportunity to put, 6 images here. I would say to use all six, because if you have more options to showcase what your business and brand is about, why not use it? For here, mine is quite simple, and I'll say a little bit about the different approaches for having a school community. And this is from conversations with colleagues and mentors about not just school communities, but communities in general. And this may be an indication of like what to have in your about page, how to describe your group. So one is the expert approach. So you're an expert and you're teaching an outcome, and you really want to establish yourself as the authority because you want people to join your community, and then you want them to enroll as clients. It's much more of a direct approach to growing your community in a way where people know that you're an expert and they know that you want to enroll them as clients. So the other approach is just the hangout approach. make it a cool place for people in your ideal audience to hang out. And when I initially started my group, I followed the expert approach, and it was just positioning myself as a business guide, a business expert who was looking to help people in my community to, well, essentially get clients. But since I became aware of the different approaches, I've now shifted it to more of a hangout approach and also more of a hybrid approach where growing your audience is important. And I've heard and I've seen that just having a community where people want to hang out, like it's a cool place to chill and engage with others, is actually the vibe of Skool. And it actually took me some time to figure that out as well, rather than just sharing value and teaching. Just make it a cool place to hang out. And if you decide your approach, then that's going to indicate what you want to have in your about page. Some other notes here are to just make it human. I mean, AI is so popular these days. I see individuals overly use AI in the about page, and for me, I'm reluctant to read it all the way through or to even join because it doesn't seem human. So even if you use AI, like make it human, if that makes sense. Like make it seem like you took the time to have it in your own voice. And I believe in legibility, right? It's readable. There's spaces. It's not like big paragraphs of text. So quite simple. And yeah, let's continue on here. Because as we develop attraction in other people's groups, we want to make sure that your community looks good. Anything else that I mixed here? Oh, a minor one. You probably know. Just have a logo, right? Have something there. Um, some people don't do that soon enough, and I'm reluctant to check out their group as well because it looks like they just started their community if they didn't have a logo there. You can see here that I do have some of my social proof in some of the images, which is recommended so that people see your expertise and authority. But I've also shifted my images where the social proof and the expertise are actually the last images. So again, when I'm saying that I'm shifting the focus to be more of like a community approach, like, hey, just come hang out. This is a space for entrepreneurs to talk about entrepreneurship. That's why I've intentionally have this where you have like the different kinds of growth, business growth, personal growth, community growth, network growth, cross-pollination, collective impact. Like it's nothing about like what I'm teaching specifically. It's more of a vibe of what I believe people would be interested in this community. And that's also why I have some screenshots from some recent calls because I really want to emphasize the vibe of like this is a place where people actually hang out. And my expertise and what I want to share is secondary to that. I'll pause here if anybody has any questions. Let me check the comments as well. Should we put this on Facebook profile also? Hide the communities you are in and just have your partner. Oh, yes, that's a good point, Suzanne, right? Like if you have allies, if you have people that you want to share the spotlight with, then it would make sense to share um, those communities as well. And also, unfortunately, like you can't co-own a Skool community with another individual. So, if you are helping another individual to like facilitate their community, it makes sense to not hide it as well. Hope that answers your question, Suzanne. Yeah. Should we put this on Facebook profile also? I mean, I think you mean the links, right? Like if you really want to have options for people to join your other social media platforms, like of course you can, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Um, but I'm from the school of thought of marketing, just drive traffic to one thing. But of course, it's up to you as well. Yeah, you can't read AI. It just doesn't seem human, right? Like even if you use AI, like make it sound human. I sometimes talk about the AI behind the AI, the authentic intention behind the artificial intelligence. Like don't let it replace your ability to communicate and connect with people. Would screenshots of testimonials also be appropriate in photos? Yes, totally. That's actually ideal. So I have that example here as well, where I've taken screenshots of testimonials that people have shared with me in text. And um, like even if people sometimes people will write things to me in like WhatsApp and I'll ask them, how do I say it? Like even if like you want it to look organic, right? Like if someone gives you a testimonial, make it look like you took a screenshot of it from a social media chat platform because it's more authentic. It's harder to fabricate. So that's another thing in relation to marketing. So that is a good technique, Eileen. Um, yeah, whatever way you can make it look more authentic is good. Yeah. One thing I didn't mention yet, oh, is a video, right? So honestly, like you can have a video for your about page if you would like to, but honestly, for a free community, I don't think it's essential. And we'll get into conversion rates in a bit, or I'll just talk about it now. Like I get pretty conversion rates for my community, and I don't have a video. Mine is about 25 to 30%, which is quite good. I'm also in a WhatsApp group right now where there's a bit of an accountability challenge for growing your Skool community. And a lot of people have theirs at like 10 or 15%. So that said, some of the audience growth and the audience growth that contributes to enrollment or opt-ins into your Skool community is about conversions, right? So just saying that, like you don't have to have a video, it's up to you. Um, some other questions here. Yeah, more about AI. Yeah, create a common admin avatar. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they'll let schools be owned by one individual soon. I hope so. Cool. So let's continue on here. More about generating attraction. All right. So next is leveraging other people's groups for lead gen, for audience growth, for attraction, for connections. And the connection to a fishing pond is just like if you're going fishing, because client attraction in a lot of ways and prospecting in a lot of ways is like fishing. Uh, why create your own pond when you can leverage someone else's pond where your audience is already there? I know Suzanne is also on this call, and she shared with me that this is called the middle of funnel strategy. And I'm aware of it. It made sense, but when she explained it to me, it made even more sense. So someone else's group is essentially their middle of funnel. So it's a great place to connect with people in your ideal audience because they're gathering at that one place. Some people often say, well, I don't want to promote, I don't want to get in trouble with the admins or the host, but you're not. You're not promoting yourself. You're just being relational in someone else's community. If anything, you want to be one of the most supportive members to that community so that you're valued and the admins think you're cool and they're not going to kick you out because you're providing value. So more on that in another slide. So how do you find these groups? So there is Skool Discovery, which I'm not going to go to now, but you can search for groups that may have your ideal audience in them. And this is something I learned from my days on Facebook. You just join a lot of groups because you can always leave the group if it's not an ideal fishing pond. But you can't know the quality of the group until you're in there. And what we're looking for is engagement, community members posting, commenting, an active leaderboard. Because sometimes I join communities that have a few hundred or thousands of individuals and there's no engagement. It's like a ghost town. So you really don't know until you join. And I'm surprised to see that smaller communities actually have a lot of engagement or are actually better fishing ponds than some of the larger groups. So you really don't know until you join. Um, in regards to how many groups to focus on, I would say like three would be good, two to three, because you want to have visibility in these groups. And if you're trying to engage in a lot of groups at once, then that reduces your dominant visibility in your target groups. Um, And I'll say that it works. Like I have DM conversations with individuals or conversations and comments with individuals below posts, or even on networking calls with individuals. And people say, "Oh yeah, I see you on the leaderboard." So we'll talk about the leaderboard strategy because it works better than I expected, where people are aware of you even if you're not aware of them, because that's what attraction's about. Cool. Let's continue here. Okay, the leaderboard strategy. So let me use an example. Also, I'll expand this here. You can see on the left, I have pinned school communities. So if you have certain fishing ponds or certain schools that you frequent often, you can put those on the side there. So I'm going to use this community as an example. And I was number 1 on the leaderboard, but I have some competition right now. So part of the leaderboard strategy is that you want to be in the top 5 of the 30-day leaderboard, because the top 5 of the 30-day leaderboard is what shows to everyone who goes to the homepage of that community. So let me change this here. Right? It's a walking advertisement for your brand and your community. Like every time someone visits this page, there's only so many things they'll see. And they'll see your name on the leaderboard. And it's just a click away before people then, well, they see your bio, which is why we want to optimize bio. We want an optimized profile picture. And from that, if they click your name on the leaderboard, then that's easy traffic that then goes to even more details about your school community. So it all comes together, which is why I made sure to share some tips and insights about optimizing your profile and school community about page first. Okay, so yeah, how to do this in a way that's authentic. So develop a relationship with the admins and the moderators and the owners. It's super simple, but a lot of individuals don't do that. So some other things you can do is just align your engagement in a fishing pond in someone else's school community with their mission, their vision. So, for example, if they do a welcome post to welcome new members, as a member, you can also welcome new members. Like you're contributing to the agenda or the goals of those admins or those owners. And if you do that, you develop that relationship, you're valued and you're developing connections, relationships, you're contributing. And if you happen to make a few connections where people want to join your group, it's just it's just relationships that are a key part of this attraction lead gen strategy. So another aspect of it is comments, because this is how you get points for leaderboard. And this is where it gets fun, interesting, because I have a lot of tips and suggestions to share with you that I think a lot of people may have not thought of or they just don't do. Um, so like write comments. And one thing that I see some people do is they write really long comments. But if part of the goal is to get points, why not break a long comment into like 3 short comments where you can get 3 points instead of 1 point? Also, you can use gifts occasionally for some extra points. You don't even have to think about doing anything. And gifts are huge on Skool as well. Sometimes with some individuals, we'll just do a few gift exchanges back and forth, and it's just easy points as well. So some just easy ways to get more points, more bang for your buck, I would say. Yeah, I have that here. Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, yeah. So the way Skool works is that when there's a new comment on a post, then it gets bumped up. You can see that this post here, for example, from Danilo is now at the top. Oh, it's pinned actually. Yeah, this one's a better example. You can see new comment just now, and these posts are now at the top of the feed. So this is something you can use to your advantage. So when people are commenting, some stragglers joining here. All right, so when you have comments on your post in a community, and I'll talk about what kind of posts you may want to put in a community in a moment. I don't respond to all the new comments on my post right away, because if I do, then I don't have an opportunity to bump the post later so that it stays at the top of the feed. So I typically stagger my responses to comments on a post that I've done over a period of a few days. I also collect the links to my posts in a Google Doc or a Notion doc, and you can bump your own post like weeks or months after you posted it. So why consistently create new content to develop this attraction dynamic and to climb the leaderboards when you can bump your old posts to have your content shown to new individuals in a group? Some other strategies here are to follow key members of the community so that when they post, you can engage with them. You can comment on their posts for more visibility, for more points. So that's something that I do. So, you can look at the leaderboard and easily follow the other most active members in the community. And essentially, like you're helping each other. So it works well. There's reciprocity to engaging with each other because you both advance on the leaderboard. And also, active individuals in the community, if you engage with them, you're going to be more seen too. Not through your posts, but through commenting on their posts and engaging with them. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, be a valuable community member. Um, and yeah, share things you learned in the community from the admins as well, from the hosts. Participate, share that you're receiving value from what they share. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Let's continue here. Okay, a little bit more into commenting. So I have a technique that I developed called the VSQ method for commenting. And it's really good for advancing a conversation in the comments or even in a one-to-one dialogue. And it's validate, share, and question. I know Krista's not on the call. She's going to catch the replay, but I taught her this and she was using it on me. And I just couldn't stop conversing with her because it just works. Like it's my framework. She's using it on me, and I just couldn't. You just want to keep on engaging with someone because it's so genuine and authentic, but it's also very strategic. So validate is acknowledge or genuinely compliment their post or their comment. Then share something meaningful from your own experience, your thoughts, your ideas, opinions in relation to their comment or their post. And then ask a question to continue the conversation because it deepens the engagement. And especially since part of the strategy is that we want to have a DM conversation with an individual who may be a good fit for our community or our services or offer, you're you're developing that rapport in a very systematic, frameworked way that's also just very relational. So some of the reason why this works is it's quid pro quo. So because you share something about yourself, you ask a question, they're going to share more about themselves rather than just asking a question, which I see a lot of people do. And the acknowledgement is just like it's a good feeling. It's praising them for their share or their comment, which is a good feeling, which is going to open them up to responding to you as well. So very simple rapport building strategies here. Um, Quality over quantity. So I am in some circles of individuals who talk about this rule of 100 for commenting, because organic marketing, especially on Skool, comments can be considered your content. And that's something I'll share with you that has changed my perspective as well. Because if you're building your audience and you don't have a lot of eyes on your content, then commenting on other people's posts or responding to other people's comments is instant attraction. You don't have to wait for people to find your post. So something that really shifted my understanding of comments is comments are content. So put enough intention and quality into your comments that people take notice. Comments are also connection as well. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Sonia. Um, so in continuing on with this dynamic of the 100, so some of my colleagues count how many comments they do in a day, and their goal is 100, and other colleagues, they go for 100 minutes of comments. And I see colleagues that I know who are following this strategy, and their comments, they're hitting the numbers, they're putting in the time, but they're not following a strategy that's actually building relationships. They don't have my VSQ method, even though they might be commenting of their own accord. It just sounds like AI because it doesn't add anything to the conversation. Um, and also, it's not about the volume of comments. I prefer to engage with people that I sense could be a good fit for my community or belong in my audience. So also targeted comments, not just commenting in response to anyone, but to people that I actually want to connect with. Another game-saving tool here is Whisper Flow. If you haven't heard of Whisper Flow, it's amazing, and I'll show you right here in real time how you can do it because commenting does take time. Um, but here, if I go to the bottom here, I'll even use my VSQ technique. I could be, I agree. Sometimes things are meant to be outgrown. And boom, right there. I didn't have to do anything. And also do my other strategy of like breaking my comment into a few pieces so I can get more points as well. I love personal growth. It's one of my favorite topics. Why do you think most people struggle to outgrow things that don't serve them? Yeah, and it's interesting because I actually have Lisa on my radar as someone to connect with because from me checking out her profile and seeing other conversations with her, I think she's someone cool to connect with that I may be able to help or maybe just a colleague or an ally. So that's me modeling this in real time. Um, yeah, follow notable members on leaderboards. Yeah. So getting clear on the outcomes of your brand is essential because if you can be curious about someone and use this VSQ technique or you're asking questions of someone, if you can get them to the topic of the outcomes that you help people with, then it's almost like a natural flow into what you do. And also, very often, if you ask people like what they do, they're going to ask you what you do, which is just a natural conversation progression. And if you can say what you do in a way that is very appealing to that individual and they are your ideal audience, then they may just check out your profile and join your community on their own, which has been happening to me quite often as well because that's what happens. The conversation unfolds. They're going to be curious about you, and they're going to check out your profile, which is again why we want everything optimized. So the curiosity in an individual is actually part of the conversion mechanism. Um, so do you go for number of comments or amount of time? That's a good question, Sonia. I I go for time actually. Like I don't really enjoy counting the comments. I've tried it and I have a tracker for it, but personally, I like to track the time I spend on it. And for me, it's actually about the number of new conversations that I started, the number of calls I booked, or the number of people joining my community. That's what I track more. But of course, it is beneficial to track how much time or how many comments you are doing. Whisper Flow lets you talk to text comments. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. That's what I just modeled. It's phenomenal. It uses AI too. So there are other speech to text softwares but this is so good, like the punctuation and the flow and its ability to pick up um, your language, even if you say something not exactly clear or not exactly articulate, like it improves your spoken language in a lot of ways. Like it's really good, especially if you're playing this game of like volume of targeted comments for your attraction piece to get people into your community. I also use it to help me write posts also, or to respond to comments in my own community. So a lot of benefit. Whisper Flow is like one of my favorite tools that I discovered over the last few months. Cool. And would it make sense, move the conversation in the DMs? So it's one or two ways to do it. It's like, hey, I'm really enjoying chatting with you. Is it cool if we continue the conversation in the DMs? And if you're following this approach and you're relational and you're curious and people like your vibe, you just always say yes. Or you can just message people directly without asking if they want to continue and just say, hey, I've enjoyed our conversation. I figured I'd send you a message just to continue to chat with you. One thing to note, because I'm about the metrics of marketing and what is possible. You can only send 10 outreach messages on Skool a week. So that's about 40 a month. But that's 10 new conversations a week. That's 40 new conversations um, a month. And if you do this with target individuals, those are people who are going to join your community. Those are people who may book calls with you and enroll as clients. So reading comments here, a little container paper clips every time make a comment. Oh, I like that. I'll share this. I may try to do this because it's tactile as well. So Eileen is sharing that rather than having a timer or even having a tracker for tracking your comments, to have paper clips. So every time she makes a comment, she moves a paper clip into an empty container and she uses it to gamify her productivity and it keeps her engaged and focused. I love that. I may have to try that. I may use something else like sunflower seeds. You could do anything, right? Just something small that you move from one place to another place. That's really good. Um, yeah, so there are other ways to bypass the 10 outreach messages a week. If they join your school, then of course you can message them right away. If you join their school, you can message them right away. So sometimes I join the school community of people who I want to connect with so that I can save those messages for other people, or I run out and I can message them directly. But yeah, I mean it's all social. It's just being social. It's social selling in a way because you're selling yourself, you're selling your community. You're not selling your offer yet, but that's the goal. And I do have this here at the bottom. I did pretty good. Yeah. Before this call, I talked for like 30 minutes of all my ideas. So AI and Gamma AI did a really good of organizing things. Like I didn't talk about that yet, but it is there. Cool. Let's continue here. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Okay, so what to post? And it is a bit related to marketing and authenticity and sharing value in the community, and also using some of my strategy of like bumping your own post. Another cool thing that you can do is you find allies. So you don't have to bump your own posts. You can have allies that bump your posts for you if you just have a simple conversation on the side. I do this sometimes with individuals, and it's easy. I mean, it's a game, right? Like social media is a game, school is a game. People don't know how you're playing the game, but if you benefit and you're not breaking any rules and you're not upsetting anyone, why not? Um, so another thing I didn't talk about here in this presentation, but I might have to do it in 2.0, or they just do it naturally for, yeah, without conversation. Yeah. Yeah, Sonia and I do this unintentionally because we just enjoy chatting with each other. We bump each other's posts just because we enjoy chatting with each other. But you could be a little bit more strategic with it as well. Like, why not climb the leaderboard with someone else trying to climb the leaderboard in the community? And your engagement back and forth gives you both more visibility and you're giving each other points. Um, yeah. I might share another day how I got in trouble for point farming from Sam Evans. Yeah, I'll share it on the call. Yeah, I got a direct message from Sam Ovens. So Sam Ovens, owner of Skool, knows who I am because I got in trouble for point farming in his main Skool community. So that's why I know about these marketing strategies and this point system and leaderboards because I've tested it on my own and with colleagues to the point that I got a slap on the wrist. So if you gain attention from the head honcho, you're getting attention from other individuals as well. So this stuff works. Posting. Post in your target groups, 1 to 3 times a week is a suggestion. I don't think you have to do it every day because it's more about the conversations that unfold from your posts more than the post itself. And I talk a lot about the direct line of sales, right? It's not posting that gets you sales, it's conversations that get you sales or conversations that help you grow your Skool community from people who know you are. So it's about the conversations that the posts contribute to. If you're having conversations from your post, that's why you want to post, but don't post just to post. Um, not how to, right? I've learned this, I've seen it as well. And Skool is very different than Facebook or LinkedIn. And I like it where Skool is more relational, it's more about sharing. So on Facebook, I might do something that's more a little bit how to, but Skool is more of like, this is what I've tried, this is what I've done, this is what you may want to do also, especially if you're posting in someone else's community. Thought leadership is a bit frowned upon if you're a member of someone's community and you're building engagement and you're posting. But how I is more palatable. You're just sharing something that you've done with other individuals. Um, Also getting back to what I said about like conversations about outcomes lead to sales or desired action. So when I post in a community, I'm aware of the outcomes of my business and my brand, and I try to make my posts about that without being explicitly self-promotional. So I'll give an example. I'm really into personal growth. I'm really into personality types, archetypes, personality patterns, inner resistances that get in the way of business growth. So it's not specifically related to like marketing, sales, or client acquisition. So I often post about those areas because those are the conversations that I want to engage with within other individuals that will then lead to them talking about other aspects of my brand, if that makes sense. So posting is good just for engagement, but if that engagement contributes to a conversation where you're an authority or you're an expert or you're sharing your passion and your passion is related to what you talk about in your community, then it's also congruent. Okay, a few other things. Um, yeah, I'll give a tangible example in a moment. So have a strong hook in the post. Let me see if I can find an example of one of mine. Here's mine. Social media after school sucks. I mean, there's a ring to it. Like, okay, why does social media after school suck? But also some other things that I like to do. I like to ask questions sometimes in my headline for the post because what questions do is they create a natural open loop. Like people want to know the answer to that question. So they want to read the post because they want to know to the answer to the question you pose. I didn't do that one here. I just kind of made it just like stand out a little bit more. Like, people don't really say sucks in posts. Like, why does it suck? Um, some questions here. Conversation with no results is like burning time for the fun of it. Yes. Yeah, that sounds like something an expert copywriter would say. Copywriting content without conversions is just a waste of time, right? Do you mentally keep track of your posts? Um, so I actually, yeah, facts. Yeah. Um, I actually keep track of my posts in a Notion document so that um I mean, there's a lot of good reasons for it. And now that I'm sharing this, I know there's things I can add to 2.0 version of this presentation, which is cool. So, when I do a post like this one, I'll copy the link to that post and I'll put it in a Notion document. And one reason why I do that is so I can bump my older posts a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, without having to search for the post on my own. Also, you can use that same content in another community by just copying the content of your post from this. And one thing I don't really like, I think it's a bit amateurish, and my bad if I'm stepping on your toes because you do this. People post the same content in multiple groups at the same time. Personally, I think it's really tacky. So one thing I've learned is to stagger your content or to post a lot of content in one group and then you reuse that content in another group that has your audience on a different day. So that way, you're not just spamming because I follow people and when they post in any Skool community, I see it because I'm following them. And there's like 5 posts in 5 different groups because I'm following someone. It's all the same content. So by doing this, you can stagger your posts because you've been posting a lot in one group and then you reuse those in other groups. And it's just, I think it's nice. I think it's good. Yeah, it feels disingenuous to read the same post, right? I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Some other things here are the formatting of the post because it's readability. And I know our expert copywriter would say this too. Like you want people to not just begin to read your content, you want them to read all the content because from a relational perspective or even a buyer perspective, like the more time people spend with your brand, the more it contributes to conversions, not just like the curiosity of who you are and the value, but like they're spending more time reading your content. So you can see here that there's not long paragraphs. It's broken down. It's simple language, and it flows quite well. It's easy to read. Um, and sometimes I do write long paragraphs, and I ask AI, it's like, hey, ChatGPT, can you make this post a little bit punchier? Make the language a little bit more brief. Maintain the same concept, but just make it a little bit easier to read for someone who is going to see this post in the group and I want them to read the whole thing. And it does it for you. So you can be more lengthy with your content and ask AI to have a polish for you. Um, and it works because the example I was going to share with you is that I have a colleague in the synthesizer community. Um, I'll just say her name, Nani, and she is challenging herself to post a video for 7 days in the community. And she did one day, and I asked her like, "Where's day two? Where's day three?" And she said, "I created the video, but I didn't post it." Well, it's not really a challenge if you don't post the video. So I said, how about you do a post in this same synthesizer community and you invite other people to do a 7 day challenge with you? So there's accountability. And so you don't have to do it alone. It's fun, you know? So what happened was she wrote the post to invite other people to do the challenge and no one responded. So I said, Nani, that kind of sucks. How about I write a post for you and we invite people to do the challenge with you? So she took the post that I wrote following what I shared with you, having a hook, asking a question, having the format of it be really simple, just be really clear what you share. And we got like 10 people to participate in that challenge. Like she posted it. She just posted it with some of my strategy and some of my framework. And we also bumped the heck out of that post using my strategies. So it all works. Like it all comes together. James joined that challenge. Yeah, so it works, right? Yeah, the strategies work. It's simple, it's relational. Like, I don't know why I mean, if more people knew these things, they'd be out of the job, right? So it's okay that people don't know because I have things to teach. Um, Eileen, okay. So you have a question. AI is constantly doing short sentences. How do we circle that square of putting out our own content without looking AI? I guess is a copy question. Yeah, we can chat about that. And I know you're in my community, Eileen, as you all are, and I do know a lot of AI experts who are really good at AI and copy. See that we're already at an hour. This is just fun because this is what I think this is fun. I mean, that's why I do these things because I think relationships are fun. Being social is fun. If you can add a dynamic of marketing in there where your social conversations are actually contributing to your business growth, it's just even more fun. So the system in action, right? Optimize your foundation, your profile, your about page, your links. Find strategic groups, other people's middle of funnel dynamics, your fishing ponds. Climb leaderboards, be visible, play the game, bump your posts, attract individuals to your brand, which is attracting people to the outcomes of your business through conversations. They'll check your profile, they'll join your Skool community, or you invite them to join your Skool community. Comment strategically, use the VSQ method to build genuine relationships that lead to meaningful conversations in a way that's simple. Post to be more visible, move to DMs, invite people to calls or to your Skool community. Yeah, relational, not promotional. Curiosity is key for this strategy. It's not really a strategy. It's curiosity is key to authentic relationships. Value before visibility, focus over scatter. I have some Skool communities to leave and some people to unfollow because those notifications can be overwhelming. Quality over volume. I think that's a good place to conclude. I'll stop sharing my screen here.